Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Dbt02 here. Today we are back with Diabolos Violent Bruce, or however you wish to pronounce it. Bruce cannot be mispronounced because of obvious reasons. As you probably know, I'm not the one who can afford Bruce, so today we have back once again Fade of Off.
Hello again.
Alright, so this is Dbt02 Bruce. There are many ways per se to build Bruce, but generally the cards you play in Bruce are straightforward because you just pick the objectively best options. There are too many good options right now, so you will see that we have chosen the ones that we feel are worthy of a deck list or we could afford per se. This deck will be done differently in the sense that we will put our grade 2s to the end for an obvious reason because there's just so much to explain, so let's get right into it. Diabolos Innocent Mat is our starter, generic trial deck starter. We have
Diabolos is it
Anger Steve?
Anger Steve, yeah. Anger Steve.
You know,
Is it? No, I thought it's Anger Richard.
Anger Richard, yeah.
So this one Steve is
oh, I forgot what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I just call him Steve though.
Okay, so when he is placed on the Vanguard Circle, you move your starter to the back and use Soul Charge.
So we go back to Forerunner Society. But then also, in the going second play, it also helps you create magic number of 14 to your Vanguard, to your opponent's 8, so that's really cool.
In addition, if you're playing it as a rearguard, during Final Rush, he gains +5. So he's a 13k booster on Final Rush. You may say, hey, that's pretty good. But Bruce has so many better options now that it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah, you really do not have space for him.
But if you're playing, something still from the start deck, or if you just can't afford other options, Steve is still good.
Yeah, I would definitely put him up there as one of the better grade 1 rear guards you can try.
Next we have Anger Richard.
Yes.
Richard skill is when rolled upon Steve, you move your starter into the soul.
Oh no, actually no, it's any rear guard.
You move any rear guard into the soul, which is more likely than not your starter, and you draw 1 card. So there you go. You just +1 and get another soul. Yeah, not bad. If you're on Final Rush, this unit also gains 5,000 power.
So
it's a 15k beater on turn 4.
So with the grade 1 and the grade 2, this is a 28k column, which you think, oh wow, that's really good. That's a 20k guard. It's not bad for Dark States, but like we said, there are so many better options for Bruce that we literally do not have space to run even such a good magic number hitter. But overall, as a budget option, I think Richard is pretty good because it's actually honestly better than Steve, because having a 15k on a grade 2 not only gives you an interceptor, but also gives you a solid beater if your other grade 1s you can swap out for the better options that we'll be showing later.
Yeah, it's just good all around. Last but not least, we have the big boy,
Diabolos Violence Bruce. So everyone knows what Violence Bruce skill is, that if you're on him during the start of your right phase, so that means that when you first ride him you do not get this effect, you are in Final Rush. So yeah, pretty cool when you can announce that to your player. Turn 4 and beyond only though, so just take note. And obviously everyone knows his second skill is that when he attacks, if you are in Final Rush, you Soul Blast 5. Okay, so Soul Blast 5, you restand all of your front row rear guards. So this is a guaranteed 5 attacks every single turn. So
as long as you get the Soul Blast 5, which is not that hard.
Not that hard for this deck, especially not with the version of this deck that we are currently playing. So yeah, actually that is all for the right deck.
Now we move on to our grade 3s. We have 4 copies of Violence Bruce, as well as 2 copies of Majori. I think it's really straightforward why we play for Bruce. We have Majori.
So more Majori, her skill is just as good as it was in set 1. Once per turn, when she attacks, you put a rear guard into soul. Okay,
that's not a soul.
Yeah, that's not a soul. Okay,
that's a soul.
Okay, so you put a rear guard into your soul, you draw a card, and then you also soul charge 1. So you soul charge 1 more. So this is a net 2 to your soul whenever she attacks, and then she also will gain 10k until end of turn. So that's really good. It's a really solid beater for Dark States, as well as a very powerful resource engine, because she ultimately acts as a beater but also gives you soul charge. But the reason why we dropped her down from 4 to 2 is because, like we said, Bruce has gotten so much support in this one wave of support that honestly, even no matter how strong Marjorie is, we won't be able to keep her around as much as we want to, like as 4 copies.
I mean, even Colossus, who is, in my opinion, the best card in the start deck,
Is no longer
with us because he's just been power cramped completely.
And also because after further play testing, actually having, even though all the great 3s that Bruce have are honestly really, really good, having more
except Irving.
Oh yeah, except Irving, because it's quite sad. You want to actually play more grade 2s and grade 1s so that you can actually still have some shield in your hand, because you won't be able to always kill your opponent in 1 to 2 turns of final round, so you have to prepare for that. Yeah, so Marjorie, still a really good card, but definitely will be dropping down her quantity due to obvious reasons.
Alright, we will be skipping the grade 2s first. There's too much.
We have a lot to say about the grade 2s.
We have a lot to say about the grade 2s, alright? So we'll do the grade 1s first. We have
3 copies of Acrobat Presenter, 2 copies of Diabolos Madonna Mabel, 4 copies of everyone's favorite Gear Chronicle unit, Autobot Dragon.
Hey, I thought this guy.
And also, yeah, we have the new best everyone's favorite Gear Chronicle unit, Gear Dober. And also, we have 4 of the upgraded PGs, or 4 of the upgraded PGs.
Alright, so let's break it down. Very simplistic. PG's PG. Then we have this guy. He's from the start deck, and he has remained. His skill is when he boosts Bruce, you soul charge 1, and if he's in final rush, you soul charge 2 instead of 1.
Quick note about Acrobat Presenter is that your Vanguard, he actually doesn't have to boost Vanguard Bruce. It can boost Bruce no matter what circle he's on. So even if it's a rearguard Bruce, you can still...
Oh, that's not Bruce.
That's not Bruce.
That's not Bruce.
So even if it's a rearguard Bruce and you attack with him, you can also soul charge 1, or if you're in final rush, soul charge 2. So just keep that in mind in the event that you break and you have to call Bruce as a rearguard, you can still have some exits out of that.
Although, to be extremely fair, with the way Bruce is now, there is no chance you actually need to call a grade 3 Bruce to the rearguard because of how strong this deck is now. You have such better options available that you literally do not need.
And we will definitely get to him later.
We will definitely get into him later.
There's a lot to say about him.
Alright, let's move back to grade 1s. That's that. I think Mabel. Let's start with Mabel.
So Mabel, yeah, it's a very cute card. I think a lot of people really like the art. But then also, she's not only here just for her looks. She's also here for her very, very strong skill. When this unit boosts Violence Bruce, if you are in final rush, you counterblast 1. Bruce will gain triple drive. And note, this is not drive plus 1. This is triple drive. So
yeah, but that means drive plus 1.
Okay, yeah, no. Actually, I mean, yeah, in Overdress case, yeah, it basically just means drive plus 1.
Yeah, drive plus 1. So
yeah.
The reason why I play as 2 is because it's a nice tech. It does help to close games in terms of the trigger checking, but you really only need 2. You may be saying, oh, but such a good card. Yeah, but when you see how well we can toolbox our stuff, when you see how consistently we can spit on your face, yes, you will only need 2. So
yeah, I mean, triple drive, especially if you see our trigger lineup, well, definitely we won't be needing triple drive that much, but it is very good to close games sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, still plus 1 to the hand. So
yeah.
Next we will cover this one from the first set.
Yeah, so Protobot Dragon makes his triumphant return from our first set, from our set 1 video. His skill is just as good as it always was. When at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you are in final rush, you counterblast 1. You put another rearguard that is not Protobot Dragon into your soul, to then take a card from the soul and put it into your hand.
So you now effectively do 2 things, because we have to break this one down a bit further. 2 things this gives you. First, this gives you an empty rearguard circle, just like Majori. So you may be wondering, oh, but putting a rearguard from my rearguard into the soul or just making it disappear is bad. It's a net minus, you know. But if you've ever seen Kyoyahagi, you know that this is what we want. We want the open circle because we just have so much better options to piss on you.
There's only one reason why you would clear your own front.
There's only one reason why
as Dali Emperor has proven 10 years ago, front row open rearguard circles are never a good thing.
Never. Of course, the most obvious benefit is you toolbox the entire soul. So let's say you got your nice OT, you could just take it back. You got another persona right?
You just take it, yeah. So let's say you
got another PG, you can get them back. So
Bruce might be one of the only decks that you can actually loop your persona right copy. That you don't actually need to have all 4 in your hand. You can just keep looping the second one that is still in your soul. So yeah, that's pretty pop.
Overall, Proto Bob is a 10 out of 10 card. If you are not playing Proto Bob, you're just not playing Bruce. Sadly, this is the truth. So yeah. Until they power creep up Proto Bob, if they do, we're in trouble.
Yes.
Alright, last but not least is the breakout star of Bruce, the absolute killer. It's a dope.
It's a common.
So his skill is, at the end of the bell, that is unit boost. If you are in final rush, you move this unit into your soul, and you choose one of your rear guards, and it gains 10k power. Proto Bolt gave you utility for, the open circle. But now you just get more power, so you can just piss even more on the opponent. So this card is really one of the best hard enablers there is. I mean, first of all, it's a +1 to soul, so it benefits your whole soul +5 thing. It pushes for magic numbers. There's really no excuse to just not play it, and it's a common. So I mean, Proto Bolt was a rare, so if you can't afford it, okay, but it's a common. You kind of have to.
It seems like we're going in descending order of absolute last place. Like first it was a rare, now it's a common. I wonder what's the next one gonna be.
The next one will be a triple rare. We will finally go into our grade 2s. Oh wait, we forgot. We are playing one Steve for the right deck. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Now our grade 2s, we play one Richard
for the right deck.
Then we play. You don't even need to say his name. And 4 Jared.
Oh my god.
So let's break it down if we even can. This is for the right deck. We've talked about it before.
Okay, let's start with the simpler one.
Let's start with the simpler one.
Diabolos, Red Boy, Jared. So Jared is
a card that really helped us from the first set. He gave Bruce what he didn't have from set 1. We didn't have much, and that was early game. He has 2 skills.
His first skill is not reliant on final rush, which is why it's such a good early game card. It's just counter +1, soul +1. Choose one of your units with Diabolos in his name, you give it 10k power. So as you can remember, we play quite a number of units with Diabolos in his name. So we have Bruce, we have Lenard, and we have Jared himself.
I mean, the entire right line is Diabolos.
So no matter when you get Jared, so long as you have the soul, not really the counter.
Oh yeah, Mabel's also a Diabolos too.
Yeah, but at that point you might as well just give the power to Bruce. So overall, so long as you have the counter, this deck uses so little counter blast that you honestly can afford this. The more important cost is the soul cost, which a lot of times I play tested. You really do actually need to worry about how much soul that you're willing to use for Jared. But overall, if you're able to do it, this instant 10k can win you games. It can really just swing the entire game in your favor.
We have to bring up the second part real quick, and that is if you are in final rush, when this unit attacks, your opponent cannot intercept. But why are you attacking with Jared when you have so much better options? So yeah, that's all I have to say. Jared is really here to facilitate the early game. Magic numbers, yeah, it helps. I just want to address something real quick. You notice we don't play Eden. But the thing is, Eden in the early game is also good for spot removal. In the late game, he has the crit. But I mean, it's really a player preference if you ask me. Eden is a good card, okay? It's a good card, but
if you have Eden, definitely play him. If you're asking what card we should swap out for Eden, it's really up to you in this case. Because for us, this is the playstyle that we've chosen. We like all the ratios that we're running. If you want to take in Eden, there's definitely options there for you to try.
I would say Eden takes a spot if you have a more bot reliant meta. But the funny thing is, you don't need Eden if you really want to get rid of people. There's way better ways to do so.
So now let's finally tackle the big boy of this set.
The tier 0 king.
Diabolos, Jetpacker,
Lenard. I heard some people whining the other day online that the set 2 meta is gonna be around for a while because set 3 in English is coming in December. So get used to it, boys. Get used to it. Let's break it down. I'll let you say it.
Okay, so Lenard's skill, his first skill is actually wait, let me read this again.
But no, okay, I'll do it.
No, okay. So his first skill is that when he attacks, if you're in final rush, he gains 5k, and when he attacks all units in the same column.
So what does the same column mean? Oh, my camera froze for a bit. Okay, so let's say this is Lenard. Okay, I can't believe I have to do this. This is Lenard. This is rearguard 1. This is rearguard 2. This is kind of exactly like the Magnolia one. You know, this is a column, so he swings. When he swings, he attacks this guy and this guy. So let's get that clear. In addition, right? If you have an opponent's vanguard, so let's say this is a mirror match with Bruce, right? So this is your Bruce. This is his Bruce. And he has something here, okay? I don't know why Dober, just put it in. If Lenard swings, right? So if Lenard swings, he swings at this guy and at this guy. So he involves multiple units in any attack. So to tackle misconception, people say, oh, you know, let's just not call boosters and Lenard dies. Well, that is partially true. I cannot deny that statement. I cannot say that's wrong. But I mean, if you're not calling boosters, then you're not really pushing for game at the same time. Unless your deck is just good enough, you don't need a booster. But
I mean, I guess the only deck that can really do it, that can push numbers hard enough without boosters, is Virina.
Virina,
in
maybe?
a sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. But generally speaking, your opponent would have some form of a back row. Or even if he doesn't have a back row, just swing for his vanguard. Hell, swing for his rear guards. It's always a 15k unit. So literally any time that you know that a 15k grade 2 is good, Lenard has the same thing. So,
but you might be wondering, why do we have to worry about him attacking so many units? Well, that's where his second and honestly the most powerful skill in this entire game is.
No. The best card in this game is not out yet, but this guy is good.
Yeah, okay, but then it's a close second. I would definitely say. Okay, so his second skill is when he attacks, when his attack hits, you soul charge 1, and then you call a unit from your soul to an open rear guard circle.
Yep. So
And quick side note, this is not reliant on final rush. You can do this as early. What is reliant that it has to be
Bruce.
Yeah, your vanguard has to be Bruce, so you can't tag this in and say, oh, I want to play, but this is Barrow Magnus. No, that's not.
You can't do that. Not yet. Okay. So how does this work? Okay. So let's say Bruce swings, right? No, the proof. Let's say Lenard swings. Lenard kills 1 unit. You soul charge 1, and then you get to call 1 unit to an open rear guard circle. Okay. If it hits 2, you
do it
call
again.
another 1, and you get to soul charge again.
Yes.
So you can now start to get a rough image on the horror that is Lenard. Because, my god, your board plussing never ends, as long as it hits. But you may say, oh, why does it matter? It needs to hit. If it doesn't hit, you know, I'm cool. No, because, first of all, like I said, this unit can target, you know, your feeble little grade 1s. So, are you really going to guard for that and your vanguard on a turn that you can restand?
In the past 10 years of Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion existing, no, you're probably not going to do.
You probably can't guard every Lenard hit. You're going to end up 1 or twice hits, and that 1 or twice hits will be bad enough. And calling to open rearguard circles allows you to loop things like, you know, this guy. You can use stuff like Protoball, like we said. You can use stuff like Majori.
Clear an open rearguard circle to then put a unit in.
And that really is the shadow that we can show you for Lenard, because it is that good. Yes. But, you know, we can't really show you all the technical stuff, neither can we go too deep into this. We'll be here for an hour, but we don't want to be here for an hour, so Lenard is good. It is as good as people say it is. Is this the be-all and end-all for D format? No. Because you certainly can stop him. It's not impossible. You can, you know, stop Bruce. Bruce is not a very dominating deck. It's a good deck, but it's not like, you know, the worst thing ever. So, it's not impossible. Some matchups will have to fight very hard for this. Stuff like, what's the guy called? Bastion? Yep. Stuff like, let's see. maybe stuff like Dragonic Overlord, maybe. I don't
Basically,
know.
anything that is very rearguard reliant in terms of either its power scaling or its attack pressure, Lenard is gonna just absolutely wipe that all.
You see, but that lies another problem. Even if your opponent has no rear guards, with the amount of times you swing at your opponent's Vanguard, you will always get something out of it. It really doesn't matter.
Especially with a deck like Bruce, every time your card has an on-hit pressure, he's gonna do it twice. And if you have 2 of Lenard, he gets to do it 4 times.
And it's not just 4 times. If he uses stuff like Protoball,
Just remember
right?
Protoball, you
And
can...
Lenard can just get another Lenard from the soul.
Okay, because Proto, you can activate when both of these attacks happen at the end of that battle. You can activate their skills in any order. So you can activate Proto skill first to put Lenard into the soul, and Lenard, because his skill activates when it attack hits, it doesn't have to be on field. You put a rear guard into your soul charge, you put a unit, and then you call a unit from your soul, which is another Lenard.
Yeah.
So you can start to even see even more just how horrifying this unit can become.
And it gets worse because, as I mentioned before, in literally every Dragon Empire video I've done, it is a 15k grade too. So be prepared to have to guard more. So yeah, that's really as much as I'm willing to talk about it, because honestly, play testing it, you need to see it for yourself. That's all I can say about it. If you're a Bruce player, this is a 100% pickup. Like, if you wanted to skip on Jarrett, honestly, I'm fine with it. But Lenard's a 100% must buy. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Okay, there's one thing I want to talk about, which is the order that came with this set. Hellblast Fulldive. I've seen a lot of lists that try to claim that, oh wow, Hellblast Fulldive is such a great card. It instantly makes Bruce tier 0, how much power you can gain. But as you've demonstrated with Lenard, one of your endgame strategy literally requires you to clear the front row and then call him again. So if you play that order, you're giving that 10k only lasts for that first copy of Lenard that's on field. So just to get 10k out, extra 10k out of 2 units that are not gonna stay on field for very long and are not gonna restand, in our opinion, is not that strong.
There's also another reason against Hellblast Fulldive, which is that it's a break until turn 4. Like,
yes.
If you use it on turn 3, you just barely cut your cost. It's only until turn 4, then it works. And with the way the format is warping, where early rush is more and more important, you can't afford to be spotting so many breaks. You know, you kind of need the shield. And Bruce is an intrinsically tier 4 deck, not tier 4, turn 4 deck, turn 4 deck. So you want to live to turn 4 so you can just win.
And also with every counter blast that you have to pay for Hellblast Fulldive is another counter blast that you can't use for all your other skills, like your Protoball Shenanigans, your
Jarrett,
your Mabel, your Jarrett,
Eden,
even your Edens, yeah, if you do play him. And probably the one that comes up the most is when you're fighting Prison. You definitely want to keep some counter blasts in order to prevent them from just wiping your whole field, and then your hand has no more rear guards and you just are just stuck.
Because Bruce doesn't have a facade, so
we don't have any counter charger. We're not so lucky.
We're not so lucky. Finally, our grade zeros. Let's make it quick. We play 3 draw, 8 fronts.
Play the new shield fronts.
4 heal, 1 OT, and 1 starter. Really straightforward. Draw because it's a piece reliant deck. Heals because it's Vanguard. OT and the fronts work on the same principle that we just want to push for as much numbers as we legally can.
And because we are restanding 2 units in the front row, the start deck OT is honestly really good. You might say the Dark States one is even worse, because if you check it on turn 1 or any time early game, you're always swinging with Bruce for minimum 23k double crit. When while that is good, 100 million on a rear guard that can restand. Do you understand how bad this is?
Even if you don't restand, like the same thing we were talking about Hellblast Fulldive, the 100 million means 2 almost guaranteed hits. Guess who wants to hit? So really, it's quite the circular argument. Once you enter the Lenard hellhole, you don't come back.
Yes, and front triggers. I've seen a lot of people that play crits with this deck that really is personal preference in my opinion. For me, we just want to hit for fair numbers with our rear guards that restand. So yeah, in our
I mean,
opinion,
crits close the game, which is a fair argument, but I think fronts are also not that bad. But
Yeah.
if you want to play crits, like swap this to crits and then this to crits, or even just play 4 front 4 crit, that's fine.
but definitely the shield front that we get is an automatic pickup if you're playing fronts in any capacity. There's nothing bad about having 20k shield.
And that wraps it up finally for Bruce, or should we now call it
Lenard
Lenard.
the deck,
Lenard the deck.
or even you can say Lenard the card game.
Lenard
because-
the card. But no, really, as much as we are hyping Lenard here, it is for good reason, but don't take our word for it 100% either. There are people out there who can't stop Lenard. There are people who know the weaknesses of Lenard. Lenard is not meta warping in any shape or form. He's just really good. I don't know why they printed this thing in set 2 and not set 6 or something, but I mean, sure, I guess if that's how they want to do it, we're not going to object to it. We are just going to benefit from it. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.